Did you all hear the question? When there is a problem on the rig site, how do you convey information? Let me go one step still further back. Every day on the rig site, normally at my rig sites, I have something called a daily morning meeting. Who all sit for the morning meeting? Everybody on that site, including somebody from the galley who also comes to the site, because he has to know how many people are going to eat that day. But why I'm stressing upon this is, at this meeting, things are discussed, and then the drilling supervisor gives out a written instruction. This is what we are going to do for the day. Okay, this is an everyday practice. Written instructions are important. Why? When something goes wrong, till something doesn't go wrong, everybody is friends. Right? When something goes wrong, the friendship is gone. Then what happens? Hey, now the uncle is talking again. He's telling blame. Did we blame somebody? No. But that's what happens. Thank you for that. Till everything goes well, hunky-dory. Oh, myself, George and Gordon are very good friends. Suddenly something went wrong. Then George said, hey, Sam, he's poking me around. Hey, it's your problem. No. Then Gordon said, no, it's this guy's problem. We're not blaming here. But this is quite important, is that once you have written instructions, you follow instructions. Is everybody on the same page with me? Second thing, what Kifle mentioned about. When drilling is going smooth, we do not have trouble. But sometimes we prepare for problems. We do not want problems, but we prepare. Okay? Like what example Fori said is, you're drilling and you get stuck. Now, first thing is, who made the call? Because sometimes every drilling tool that goes down the well, the final decision is from the drilling supervisor. Okay? Whatever happened, we got stuck. Now, you have to pass an information on how you are going to deal with this situation. So what do? You have a meeting together. You've got the mud engineer who tells you this is the way to do it. There's a drilling guy who tells you this is some other way to do it, or different things, because it's a teamwork. Once the whole team comes together, agrees on a particular plan, please have that documented. Why? Sometimes your stuck pipe becomes, you remember yesterday we saw that picture of the rig going down, almost falling this way? He was trying to fish a thing, right? Now when that thing happens, what is the first question that comes? The insurance person comes around. He's looking for something. What is he looking for? He's looking for instructions that were given. Even when we go on to the rig sites, even when we drive, we've got something called journey management plan. Right? And that is what is the journey management plan? For example, if two of us are planning to go from here to Aluto Lagano site, I should have a journey management plan in place. That helps me to plan, at the same time, make sure everything goes well. Also ensures that in case I have a problem, I can know whom to call, because that journey management plan will have the details of this person to call so that he can send help. Is everybody on this page? So things like that, journey management plan. Do we have that always? I don't want answers. Just think of this. This is something that you all should fix next time when you go back to drilling.
Sam?
Yes.
Does the safety officer also give a briefing at the morning meeting?
Yes.
And what does he cover?
Okay. He covers this. Now he says, thank you for that. Gordon's question was, is the safety officer also involved in that morning meeting? Yes. Because he says, this is the plan for the day. Okay? Now the whole day there is going to be drilling. So what are the other guys going to do? Whole day there is drilling. So there is work up on the rig floor. Rest of the other people are there. There is mechanic, electrician, or other people. What are they supposed to do?
Servicing zero.
Good. Thank you. These people, when the drilling is going on, there are other equipments that are not being used. This is the best time to service those equipments. Why do you service those when they're not working? so that you avoid delays. You make sure everything is in working condition, so that when suppose I need a gas detector, I can, if it is serviced properly, I turn it on, it should come on. Most of the time that doesn't happen because there is no drilling, so I don't have much to do. Right? So the safety officer, what to make sure everything that is there, people, equipment are in proper working condition.
And when you decide what you're gonna do that day, he will point out things that
Yes.
he have to be taken care of for safety reasons.
Right. So like for example, he says that today we will be doing a welding on the casing. So what he makes sure, when the welder goes, there are two people going with him. He makes sure that that work permit is prepared. Then he makes sure, hey, when you're going, please take your fire extinguisher with you. Things like that. These are things that happen every day. Right? Also, as to continue with what Kifle asked, is about when you have a stuck pipe issue or something like that, we have written instructions, very clear. So that suppose we have to follow some standard procedure, if anybody wants to see what happened and why we had some problem, yes, I've got written instructions. And again, you know who is in charge of it. Am I clear on this? Okay.
To finish.
Okay. I'm almost there now. Now, in well operations, one of the things to be considered is well integrity. What is well integrity? It means that sometimes after we run casing and all, and after the well is producing, you have leaks or some problem happens. First is identifying there's a problem. How do you identify that? For example, a well is producing. How do you identify there is a problem? Suppose there is a person who goes around your well field every day. How will you identify there is a problem? Reservoir.
Yes.
How will you identify there is a problem?
First, we should check the data.
On?
The data starting from the well discharging. up to-
Leave all that. No. Let me tell you, give you a simple situation. Today I am at LR9. Okay? You are responsibility, you are the reservoir engineer
Yes.
of the field. Every day you go and check some things.
Yes.
What will you check?
The wellhead temperature, pressure.
Thank you. Right? So here you are going to check wellhead temperature and pressure, every well. Okay? So the first thing you do is, yesterday you have come, the wellhead pressure was 90 psi. Okay? Today you came and you found that the wellhead pressure is only reading 10. What will you do first?
Maybe two scenarios.
Yes.
The first scenario is the instrument could be unfunctional.
First, what will you do? Inform somebody, right?
So just as I told you first, I should check the gauge.
Okay. Okay.
Second,
Ah.
if the gauge is working properly,
Fine. Fine.
I need to do logging.
That is a long story. You first check, you came now and you found the pressure is 10. Yes, first thing I agree what you said. You will check whether this pressure gauge is working. So you might hit on it, sometimes it gets stuck, right?
Yes.
You will check that first. Now you found that the gauge is correct. It is 10 psi. What will you do next?
We record the data at that time.
Right, then what will you, now I'm telling you, I found that there is 10 psi.
We calculate.
He's collected data, he's told you it is 10 psi. Now what will you do next?
Maybe I can open the well.
Can you? My dear friend, be very careful.
I don't open myself, but with the helping of reservoir crews.
Ah.
I will
So can
try
you just
to-
open the well like that? Whom do you have to inform first? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, the responsible, the project manager maybe.
Thank you. Do you understand now what we are talking about? Please do not open the well on your own. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay? First you understood that there is a drop in pressure. Okay? You first made sure tapping on the thing just to make sure. Sometimes the needle gets stuck. You make sure it is fine, it's working, and send. So now you call back to your manager, right? Your reservoir manager. Tell him, I'm at LR3. Yesterday it was 90, today it is 10, we have a problem. Right? First is, that is what we are there, identifying the problem. Next, you go for, you make sure, now you do additional monitoring. You check, maybe you can close the valve, change the gauge. Okay, even then it's working fine. Now what do? Now you try to look at other valves close by. Are they showing any difference? Sometimes if this one goes down, this might go up, right? That is additional monitoring. Now you have done all that, you know now there's a problem. Now what do? As Kifle was talking about and what you were talking earlier, you prepare a plan. Discuss, have something in writing. This is my plan on how I'm going to deal with the situation. Then you plan. So somebody will tell, as you said, yes, I might need to do additional logging. Okay? I might need to check the flanges. I might need to open the well. Okay? So when you are opening the well, you have to also inform. Whom do you have to inform? If you are in a production site, whom else do you have to inform? The power plant guy, because he knows that there is fluid coming from here.
Yeah.
Moment you shut this off, he does not get fluid at the power plant or steam, right? You have to inform him. So then you prepare a plan. Then you go about how do you undertake this remedial work. That's the stepwise way of doing some stuff. Here, everywhere, as we said, make sure you've got a plan in place, have the equipments that you require before you even think of anything. Your plan is in place, you've got the requirements, you've got a cost prepared, and then you go about it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let me
Please.
ask you some questions.
Mhm.
You are very clear and you have been good enough even to give too much information those who are out of the profession. But as of me, I have different questions.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, just to understand, because we have been working in this geothermal project, and to get power from this geothermal heat energy. Since we started till now, we didn't get significant power from the geothermal, but the national map,
Yes.
which is master plan,
Master plan.
which was done by Japanese,
Uh-huh.
it shows, we do have a good about more than 10,000 megawatt energy. We can,
potential. Yes.
potential, just potential.
Yes.
I think there are different, and there are there are professionals
Right.
from senior to junior. I think there is in our country there is no problem of understanding or concept of all these things. There is a foundation,
Yes.
but I want to know what are the main reasons we are not successful so far, like hydro power energy, wind energy. If there is some very advanced technology and that needs too much amount of investment, there are our development partners and the globalization effect also for our mutual benefit. They are getting into our country using the government initiation and some other issues,
Right.
and are doing together with us
Right.
as a project.
Right.
There are different gaps you were mentioning yesterday and today. To fill all those gaps and to be successful, to achieve what we want to be achieved, why not we work together?
Okay.
And something like
Thank
that.
you. Got it?
Thank you
Want to
very
take
much.
a little bit of that? Okay. Did everybody understand his question and his concern? I think it's a very valid point that he's talking about. relevant and valid. Yes. Okay? Now, one of the things that we are talking about is, do we have capacity in Ethiopia to do this? Am I right? That was one of your questions. No, that's right. That was what was one of your questions. Yes, we've got the capacity, we can do it. But it has to be a concerted effort. Okay? Like say now we are bringing in regulations. Okay? We are bringing in rigs. We've got people coming from outside and helping us. Right? There is only one place till where you can do this thing for somebody. In simple words, let me put it in very simple English. You can take a horse to the brink of the water to make it drink. But who has to drink it? The horse. Am I very clear? I can take you.
We both, you and us,
Yes.
are the horse now.
Exactly. Let me give you that. Yes. Right? Thank you for that.
For this issue, just for this geothermal energy,
Yes.
we all are horses.
Right. Okay? Now, am I willing to drink on my own with help? Somebody has taken me to the edge of the water. Okay? Am I, as a horse, willing to drink? Okay? To drink, I cannot stand like this and drink. What do I have to do? You have to go down. You have seen giraffes in Kenya, right? So the giraffe, he is tall. He's got everything. He's the best person, right? But to get to that water, he has to spread his legs, go down and drink. Okay? There is a way of doing it. You have to follow that way. Are we ready to follow that way? Let me ask this question to everybody. Are we ready to follow that way? And I think the Tasva is now in a very good position where he has now got an undertaking to make sure that we follow the way. Right? That's number one. Number two, you cannot take shortcuts. There is a way of doing things. We have to make sure we do not take shortcuts. Number three, there are some things called lessons learned. Okay? We have come on this journey in geothermal in Ethiopia since 1970. Have we learned anything from this all this way? Have we tried to improve ourselves? Now, one of the things, let me make sure of one thing. Capacity building. Yes, we've got quite a bit of capacity here. We have to fine tune that sometimes. Okay? Now, what is our responsibility here? I think so as a code of practice as we go back, as we almost come to the end of this. What I would like to take you all to take back is a few things. Just to, and I would probably sum it together with his question, is first you realized, do we have a problem? You know, this is a question asked. If you are not sick, do you need to go to a doctor? Is everybody on this page with me? Are we having a problem? I do not want answers now, but I'm just putting this there. Do we need a doctor? Okay? Or can we fight it on our own? Now, the thing is, we have been on this journey. We've got an Aluto plant there which is also not producing. Right? Now, many a times we have engaged in trying to get equipment to start that unit again. Sometimes there is a big problem of time that we, again what we are talking about. We do not think that, as also Gordon mentioned, we have had to go to recontracting some things because there is a time frame that is given for a contract to be in place. If we do not, we take our own time and we expect, there is, if suppose somebody contracts, sends me a quote, that quote has something called validity. If after 3 months I cannot give you a contract, that validity is over. Right? So sometimes it's, most of the time it is on our side. We have to show proactiveness. Let me make this once again very clear. We have to be proactive. We sometimes have been sitting in our own boxes. Yesterday we spoke about this. But today, let me tell you in a very simple way. We have been talking about teamwork. We have been talking about, yesterday Kiflet spoke about integration. When you are talking of geothermal as a country, you've got the finance team, you've got the geoscience team, you've got the mining team, you've got transportation. All these teams have to work together to come to a final conclusion of having a viable project delivered. Nowadays, what is happening is we all sit in our own boxes, not sharing information, and finally we want to expect to get something done. Let it be as you all go back, I would like to challenge you all. Think between yourselves. There is a drilling group, there's a geoscience group, there's a finance group. Think between yourself, come together as an integrated project. This approach has worked very well in different parts of the world. I was involved in one of the first integrated projects done in India. This is 1994. What we did there is, everybody comes together under one umbrella. So you're not talking to 5 different, and then the clients used to like to work with us because I do not have to talk to many different companies. On top of this whole integrated project, there's an integrated project manager. So if you are from EEP, you don't have to call 50 different companies. You just talk to me directly. I'm the manager of the project. It is my responsibility to talk to everybody else. If we have this integrated approach, I'm sure we can do much better. The other thing is, we should talk about time and cost. Many times in our scenario over here, what we do not realize is that time is money and money is time. Many times we think that, yeah, I'm not drilling because something fell in the well. Yeah, it is my rig, I'm not paying anything. So I don't drill for 4 days, what's the problem? If it was in a private company, if I'm delayed for even 6 hours, I have to write a letter as a project manager why the delay was there. Now, do you have to plan? Yes. Can we plan together? Yes. Can we learn from what we have had problems? Yes. Let us take those problems that we have had, let us put together in a new plan along with the regulations in place, and we can come up with a better solution.